Oh, thank you for clicking on all that junk. Look at what I got here. I got Atari Jaguar, a very cool system back in the day, even though it wasn't very popular. If you got suckered into the hype, or if you watch all those TV ads, this was the first home version of a 64-bit system released out in 1993, with a very cool history behind it. Atari, they wanted to get back in the game. They want to see if they can release a 32-bit system called the Panther, but they decided to scrap that, amp it up a bit more and call it the Jaguar and make it a full 64-bit system. In reality, was it a 64-bit system? If you play games like Cybermorph, it's not really that advanced. So here is the packing game you got for the system, and it pretty much plays like a poor man's Star Fox. The cool thing about the game is that it's open-ended. You can fly and shoot anywhere you want, and there's a lot of unique weapons to use, and that's pretty cool, but it looks like crap, let's be honest. And once you play this game for the first time, you see some of the cool visuals like in the title screen, and when you first play it, it doesn't seem too bad, but you actually get to some real gameplay. You see all the screen pop up, you see the different, flat shaded polygons. It looks like a complete another mess. And this was a terrible game to pack in with the system, but Atari was determined to release this early in 1993, and I think it cost them, like it was notorious to develop for. You only have to look at a few games like Cybermorph or Trevor McFur and the Crescent Galaxy and see or even hear that these games are practically unfinished. There's no music to it when you get to some real gameplay. Hell, if you get the Atari version of Doom, which is said to be one of the best versions out there, it has no music. Yeah, you gotta love that design though. Very unique. Yeah, I actually heard when the Jaguar went under, they still kept the design of the system itself. Doesn't it look cool? Yeah, you scrape out Jaguar, you make this a different apparatus for cleaning teeth. I can see that. The Jaguar definitely had a rocky start, but that's not to say it was a complete and utter failure like the Virtual Boy. Because it actually lasted for about 4 years. It had a CD add-on, even though that completely sucked and was prone to break down a lot. It had about 40 to 50 games for it, and there's even homebrew games being released to this day. Good luck buying them though. That's all I gotta say, because they're insanely expensive. Like, when I got this Atari Jaguar off my friend, it was $75. I thought that was a good deal, but other people are gonna say, whoa, you got ripped off. You're buying an old piece of junk system that was terrible back then for 75 bucks? Well, I don't know, I'm a sucker for these classic old systems despite how bad they are. And yes, the Atari Jaguar does have a lot of problems with it. Look at these controllers for one. Very bulky. Only got 3 main buttons to work with. Well, you got nice smooth corners though, but unless you got big muscular hands like me, it's gonna be very awkward to use. Like, I remember when I was younger, it used to cramp out my hands a lot. And what the hell is this? A keypad? A keypad! Just like the Intellivision, ColecoVision, and even that stupid Atari 5200. You want people to remember the Atari 5200 and what a big disaster that was? Okay, it does serve a purpose. Here you put in the overlays, like certain games like, Alien vs Predator here. Each character has their own unique setups. If you want to issue different commands and all that, you put the overlay on and boom, you're good to go. You know what buttons to press. Yeah. It's a unique feature. It's good to see it make a comeback, but I think it would have been cooler if it had less buttons and if it was less bulky. Because if you get games like Rayman, no way does it need like an overlay. But that's not to say it's a bad game. No, Rayman is actually one of the best games for the Atari Jaguar because it keeps it nice and simple. Okay, when it's all said and done, do I actually recommend the Atari Jaguar? Well, if you're a geek like me, of course. Collectors, you gotta get the system while the game is good because I rarely see them anymore. They're highly desirable. The games go for a lot of money, so you know they're gonna be worth something in the future. Hell, a lot of the games are worth something right now. I tried to get games like Tempest 2000 and Raiden again, and I was so shocked to see that they're going for like $20–30 now. You think of like common games released for Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, you could easily get them for under $5. No, a common game for Atari Jaguar is going to go for a lot more. But do I recommend it to casual players? Hell no. If you want a great game on Atari Jaguar, you can easily find it somewhere else. Games like Tempest 2000, Rayman, yeah, you can easily find them on Era systems, no problem. Chances are they won't have crappy controllers like this. So in the end, I had to grudgingly give the system a 36 out of 100. It was cool to see Atari come back, and there was hope. Like, Atari Jaguars, cats are awesome. A real life Jaguar can rip your throat out in a second. You want that kind of power behind your game system, but it just ends up being a little pussycat that can barely do anything. You're lucky you can do background music. And even though it was 64-bit, it's pretty much a juiced up version of a 16-bit system. You only have to look at a few games to realize, yeah, it just wasn't packing the power on the hood like a real 64-bit system like the Nintendo 64. Which, oddly enough, is like the Atari Jaguar, which is all black, has a very big awkward controller, and has a version of Rayman on it. So go figure. Alright, and that was my look at the Atari Jaguar and Nintendo 64, but more on that later. Yeah, watch my other videos. Okay, I'll probably do a separate review on that one. Okay, I thank you all for watching. Still a cool machine for collectors, just not casual players and all that junk. Okay, see you all later. Thanks for watching. Bye.